Hi there and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to do the Iron Method of Decoupage and update my 90s oak ironing board cabinet into some cute cottage core. So let's get started. Today's video is about making over my ironing board cabinet from this to this using the Iron Method of Decoupage. Before I could decoupage, I needed to paint the cabinet, and I used Fusion Mineral Paint in Victorian Lace. This cabinet is about 30 years old, so it really sucked up the paint. I should have used a primer, but 5 coats later, we were done. And finally ready to start the fun part, decoupage. I'm using JRV decoupage paper in Summer Flower Garden. It's a 2-panel door, so I needed to cut out 2 sections of the decoupage paper. I cut out a few sections of this paper. It was so pretty I couldn't decide which flowers I wanted to use. I've decoupaged in the past and I haven't had very good luck not having wrinkles, so I really wanted to try the iron method where you use a hot iron to apply the paper. The first thing I needed to do was apply a nice thick layer of Mod Podge, and I used it in a matte finish. Once it's all applied, I needed to let it dry for about 15 minutes till it was tacky to the touch. While the Mod Podge was drying, I wanted to get the paper ready. To have a little control of where I was tearing the paper, I took a paintbrush and I dipped it in a little water, and so it tore real easily. I wanted the top of the paper to have that nice feathered edge that you get when you tear the paper. You need to get everything lined up right where you want it, because once you hit it with the iron, it's not moving. There's no readjusting it. So here I'm getting it all lined up. I have all the edges nice and flat, and then I cover it with a piece of parchment paper, and then I iron. My iron was set to a medium temperature with no steam. I just continued to iron until I couldn't feel or see any more wrinkles. There was one little section on the top right corner where I couldn't get the wrinkles out, but overall I was really pleased with the way it turned out. And here I'm just checking to make sure everything feels like it's all glued down. There was one little section that wasn't gluing down, so I just added a little more Mod Podge. I wasn't worried about that little tiny section being wrinkled, and glued it down. And then I applied my first layer of Mod Podge to seal it. And you can see right here how smooth it went down. And I did all the same steps for the second panel. Except this time I forgot to turn the camera on when I was ironing it down for the first time. So this is me going over it a second time, making sure I don't have any wrinkles. And this time it came out perfect. There were like no wrinkles. So I stood back and I looked at it, and I decided I didn't like it. It wasn't enough. I needed to figure out a way to fix it. So I decided I needed to add some more decoupage paper. So I cut out some flowers and then I taped it to make sure I was going to like it. This time I decided to use DIY liquid patina. It's actually my favorite decoupage medium, and I just wanted to make sure that it would work the same way as the Mod Podge. I applied the liquid patina to all 3 areas where I was going to put down the flowers. I was kind of confident how fast it seems to go, so I was pretty sure I could get to all 3 areas while it was still tacky. You can see here that the matte finish Mod Podge actually was pretty shiny, so I decided I just would go over everything with the liquid patina because it can also be used as a sealer, and I just didn't want any lines showing because of the Mod Podge. I used the same method to iron down the decoupage paper. These flowers I applied at an angle, so there was a little bit of the paper hanging over the edge, so I just sanded it off to make it a nice smooth edge. I was liking the way it was looking, but I decided it still needed a little bit more. So I decided to add a transfer. This transfer is by ReDesign by Prima, and it's Botanical Paradise. I decided which flowers I wanted to use. And then if you've never used a transfer before, you just lay it down where you want the transfer to go. There's a carrier sheet that you take this wooden stick and you rub over it until the carrier sheet turns translucent, and then you know the transfer is adhered to the wood. When you get the transfer off the carrier sheet, you want to take that carrier sheet and rub all over the transfer. You just want to make sure that everything is good and adhered well to the wood. And I just kept adding flowers until I was happy with the design. I added a cute little bee. A few more flowers. I didn't get any video of this, but when I was done with the transfers, I put a sealer over everything, and I used DIY liquid patina, but you could also use Mod Podge. And when I was all done, I went through all my plates and found the perfect plates to hang next to this ironing board cabinet. And I think it makes it totally cottage core. And it almost makes me want to iron. Almost. Have you tried the iron method before? How did it work out for you? I think it's a great method. I'm going to try it again. Thanks for watching. If you like today's content, would you give me a big thumbs up? Consider subscribing so YouTube knows I'm out here, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.